Episode 23. We're going to do a bonus episode in a couple days. At the time of this recording is coming up the finale of Season 7. So we're going to do a Deadpool prediction, not just of who is going to die the next episode, but who will, more of a live pool, who will survive at the end of both the show, A Game of Thrones, and the entire book series, A Song of Ice and Fire. Okay, you ready, Kate?
I hope so.
Okay, we'll see how this goes. So let's start with the Lannisters. We got Cersei, Jaime, and Tyrion. Do you think any of those three will die next episode? Or do you think any of them will survive by the end of the whole thing?
I definitely think that Cersei will not survive. And I think that Jaime's going to kill her. He's the Valonqar. I think Tyrion will survive everything. Jaime, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Cersei and Jaime will not survive, but Tyrion will. And I don't think that the season finale will have Jaime and Cersei dead yet. I think they'll be around next season.
Yeah, I think everybody from the Lannisters that you just named there is going to make it, except for maybe in the show Cersei's baby, if it exists.
Oh, if she's even pregnant, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll die with Cersei if it exists.
Yeah, that baby's never going to be born. I could see Jaime killing Cersei and then dying himself.
Yeah.
But in a poetic kind of way.
Yeah.
I could see him doing something good by his death.
Yeah, I don't think anything big enough can happen in the one remaining episode for him to decide to do that. But maybe. If somebody big's got to die this week, could be one of them, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I see Tyrion making it with everything.
I agree. Okay. Jon. Jon will not die next episode. Let's get that out of the way. Will he survive A Song of Ice and Fire?
Maybe not.
He is in my Deadpool as well. I don't think he'll survive the books.
Well, I know that George R. R. Martin likes bittersweet endings. He's a huge fan of Tolkien, and Tolkien had bittersweet ending to Lord of the Rings. So I could see Jon sacrificing himself or saving the world or Westeros or whatever, but then not being able to live anymore. Some weird magical reason or something. I could see something like that. That could give us the bittersweet. Jon would be a very bittersweet.
His conversation with Beric last episode might have shed some light on that. They're there for a reason. And if that reason is killing the Night's King and then he does it, then there might be no reason for him to be there anymore. He's different than other characters in that he was brought back from the dead. So you're a maybe and he's a goner.
Yeah, it's hard. I could easily see him not making it, but there's a part of me that thinks that he might make it. And it might be where he might make it in the show, but not in the books. The show seems to kind of be its own juggernaut now, doing its own thing. And it's already killed off characters that George R. R. Martin had said would still be alive in the books, so...
The thought of a major character having a different outcome in the show or the books bothers me.
Well, sometimes I wonder if George R. R. Martin is now just, since he's taken way too long, he's just kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to wait and see what the fans and how angry they get at the show, right, and then rewrite his book
I was thinking
so that
about
people
that
don't get pissed at him.
With Stannis and Shireen, maybe he was like, oh shit, I don't know if I should do this.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
But even other things that people could get really upset about, and it would have to be about the story. But I'm almost wondering if he's just kind of biding his time to make sure that he finishes up stuff really well.
All right, Bran Stark.
I think Bran will make it because
as the Three-Eyed Raven.
He already is the Three-Eyed Raven. I mean, we don't know in the books, but he's bound to be that on his journey. But Bran
the Builder?
Yeah, that was the Three-Eyed Raven before?
No.
Who was...
Brendan Rivers.
Brendan Rivers, yeah. He was alive for a really long time, and there was just one of him. It seems like that Bran has succeeded him in that role, and I think my guess is that unless all magic gets wiped out, which I doubt, that Bran has to continue in that role until there's someone else to replace him, and that could be centuries later.
I'm going to say Bran is a goner, and the Three-Eyed Raven is no longer a thing by the end. But going to your bittersweet thing, it is possible that Bran lives in a tree, and that would be a bittersweet ending for him. Becomes a tree, whatever. But I think that the whole Three-Eyed Raven thing is going to be done at the end of the story.
I mean, we could get all philosophical here and say that Bran has already died.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Bran that everyone knew him to be and how he could have existed. Like Bran Stark is dead. Yeah. He's the Three-Eyed Raven.
Okay, Sansa?
I think Sansa will survive everything.
I do too. She will survive, and she'll be important by the end of it. I think she's going to be some kind of leader at the end. Arya?
I think she will survive as well.
I think Arya will survive as well, but I think it'll be a sad existence for her. Either she'll love killing and be a faceless man, or I got this idea in my head that she's going to disappear and sail west from something she said in one episode.
Yeah, I could see that. I see her either protecting, like, being a part of the king or queen's guard. Like, I can see her protecting Sansa's queen, or protecting Jon, and I could see her being a part of that guard, which she always wanted to be, like a knight or something like that. Or I see her just disappearing, like the way Frodo does in Lord of the Rings.
She'd look really funny if there was, like, an actual king's guard for Jon or a queen's guard for Sansa, and it had this little girl on it. It would just look very out of place.
I think she's going to have quite the reputation that will back her up.
So that's all the Starks that are left alive in the show. In the books, Rickon is still alive. He was killed by Ramsay in the show. I guess we got to assume he's going to die in the books, right? But it won't be by Ramsay.
That's a huge plot change if the show just came up with that on their own. Like, I have a feeling he's probably going to die in some sort of way, and that's how the show took care of it. So that point remains consistent across the show and book, if that's what happens in the book, which I think it will, but
he won't die from Ramsay. He's
not from failure of Zigzag, no.
No, but he's nothing to do with Ramsay. He's on some deserted island or cannibal island, whatever, out in the sea. I guess we got to assume he's going to die because in the show, but I don't know.
I think it's going to be the Stark daughters that carry on the Stark name.
Oh, I guess that's true. Without Rickon, there'd be no boys if we're right about Bran and Jon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, then I've switched my answer. I say Rickon's going to live. And then there's Benjen, who just died last episode in the show. We still don't know who he is in the books. There's a character called Cold Hands, which is Benjen in the show, but George R. R. Martin said in an interview that Cold Hands is not Benjen. So we don't know anything about Benjen, I guess. Is he going to make a comeback? Is he dead? Is he really Cold Hands? What do you think?
Well, I mean, the show said he is Cold Hands. George R. R. Martin said he isn't. So I feel like that's already answered for everybody. So in that sense, that's my answer. I don't think he made it. I think we're done with Benjen.
Yeah, I guess the safe answer is he must be
dead. I think Benjen's biggest role was to be a motivation for Jon.
All right. I guess Lady Stoneheart is not in the show. She's not going to survive, obviously.
No.
Nothing to say about her, really.
No, she's going to, seek out her vengeance in the books and then be done. Yeah. It's kind of what you were saying about, like, with Jon and Beric, that they're going to serve their purpose and be done.
Yeah, okay.
And she's kind of starting to be wicked in the books, where Book 5 left off.
So Baratheons, Stannis, Selyse, Shireen, all dead in the show. We're going to assume they're all going to die in the books as well.
Yeah.
And will it be the same?
What do you mean?
Will Stannis burn Shireen and then lose to the Boltons?
Will you still be my friend after I answer this?
Sure, yeah.
I actually agree with you. I don't think Stannis is going to be aware. There's so many certain, somewhat minor differences. So, like, Lady Melisandre's still up at the wall where she was with Stannis at the battle in the show. So I think that minor difference could be enough for her to burn Shireen without Stannis' knowledge.
Yeah, that's been my theory all along. Melisandre will burn Shireen.
I could actually see Lady Selyse being somewhat similar in show and book, where she's just kind of seen as this follower, unlikable character, and then her most redeeming quality is her guilt that causes her to commit suicide when her daughter's... Yeah. Like, I could see Selyse being the one who says, okay, Lady Melisandre, take Shireen, do what you must, and then not being able to bear it.
Yeah, Selyse will kill herself after Shireen is burned.
Or Stannis killed her.
Yeah, if Stannis finds out, if he's not there and he finds out, but I don't think so, I think she'll kill herself. Stannis might do it too. It's just the logistics of it now seems very difficult. Yeah. And I think Stannis will not die by the Boltons. If he does, then he 100% won't burn Shireen. But if he doesn't die by the Boltons, he'll die some other way. I think he'll die. I think Dany will kill him with fire. But the only Baratheon left other than that is Gendry.
I think he'll make it. I think he's going to continue the Baratheon line for the same reason why you changed your answer about Rickon. I think Gendry will definitely live in both show and books.
I agree. He'll make it
procreate.
He'll make it out of the whole show and the books, and he'll be.
Oh, maybe he'll marry Arya.
Yeah, they did tease a romance, and he will be
kinda. She was such a kid, though.
He'll be legitimized as well, so he won't be a bastard or whatever. He'll become.
He'll be recognized and then legitimized. Yeah.
Okay, Targaryens. There's none except for Dany and the 3 dragons. Will any of them survive? And Jon, yeah. I put him in the Starks, but I should have put him in the Targaryens.
Well, we can put him in both.
So this week's episode is called like The Dragon and the Wolf or something. That is about Jon. It's going to have a double meaning. It's going to be about Dany and Jon, but that could apply to just Jon.
Correct.
So I think we're going to get a big reveal this week. We're going to get the R plus L equals J, I think, in a couple days here. So will Dany or any of her dragons survive?
I think all the dragons are going to be done.
Yeah.
I think that the books are going to be similar to the show and what happened in the last episode, North of the Wall.
So you think one of the dragons will be killed and resurrected as an ice dragon?
Yeah, I think we're going to see an ice dragon. I mean, what's really just kind of heartbreaking is the other 2 dragons are going to have to kill their brother or fight their brother.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think that's kind of, there's going to be a parallel with other things too. Like Jaime and Cersei were talking about. Like, I think we're going to see some, like, and we already see it with Tyrion against his siblings. But I think all the dragons, once,
I just thought of something. Will at some point all 4 of the major families kill one of their own? So the Baratheons did it with Stannis and Renly. We think that Jaime and Cersei.
And Shireen, maybe.
Well, yeah, and Jaime and Cersei will kill each other. Maybe
Tyrion already did it with his dad.
Yeah, Tyrion already killed his dad. Maybe Arya and Sansa kill each other. That seems a little unlikely. So probably the Starks this won't apply to.
Well, I thought I read something that the last book, at one point, before it was going to be called A Dream of Spring, or Dream, yeah, I think A Dream of Spring.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be called A Time for Wolves. And so if all the Starks are dead, that's a really weird way to say it.
Well, not all dead, but will one kill another? So that's what I'm getting at. But anyways, no, it's probably, I just came up with that theory. I'm sure somebody else thought of it, and the more I think about it, the more unlikely it is. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you that all the dragons will be dead.
I don't think Dany's going to make it either. I think that's going to be part of the bittersweet. I think the Targaryens, I mean, I think if all the dragons don't make it, symbolically, that means the Targaryens are going to be done, which is part of my reason why I think that Jon may not make it either.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's still a part of me that thinks maybe like the Stark part of him lives, but the Targaryen part dies.
Yeah, I think Dany will not survive. And the Azor Ahai...
Like, I could see even like Jon killing Dany. Yeah. Not in like a fit of rage or anything, but in a... No, this needs to be done.
The Azor Ahai prophecy is his lover to kill Nissa.
Yeah.
The sword through the heart, so maybe Jon has to kill his lover, Dany.
Well, that's that forbidden love I was telling you about. I could definitely see that being something. So no, I don't think Dany's going to make it.
So those are the 4 biggest houses, and of all of them, we've only got like 4 survivors. Greyjoys, Theon, Yara / Asha, Euron. Will any survive?
I think Theon is going to make it.
Theon will make it. I think Theon will not make it.
Well, so it's funny because I started to say he's going to make it, and then I was like, no, I think he's going to be done.
I don't think he'll die next episode.
No, I see him dying at the end.
Yeah.
Or close to the end.
If he has a story arc, it hasn't been fulfilled.
Like, I see him pulling a Snape, where he's going to be there till the very end, and then he's going to do something that's really important.
Yeah.
And die under similar circumstances like Snape did in Harry Potter. That's what I see for Theon. So no, he's not going to make it. I changed my answer.
Yeah, like I said, if there's an arc for Theon, it's got to go somewhere, and it's not there yet for the upcoming episode.
Yeah.
What about Yara?
Yara / Asha. So it's the same character, but just different name in books and show. I think she's going to make it. I think she's going to be pivotal member of the Greyjoy kingdom or something with that. Like, I think, you know, in the books they really talk about how women can't be this, like in major roles and stuff. But I think times could be a changing for that.
Yeah, I think Yara will make it as well. In the books right now, she is Stannis' captive, and so is Theon, and Stannis is threatening to burn Theon.
In all fairness, you only know about Theon being the captive in excerpts that have been released for Winds of Winter. Right. It hasn't been a part of a published book yet.
Right, that's true.
So, technically only Asha is the captive of...
Right, but assuming that the sample chapters are what actually make it in the book. But anyway, so I think she'll survive that. And I don't think Stannis will burn Theon, but he is talking about it, so that would be just no story arc, just you get what you deserve kind of thing.
I just feel like George R. R. Martin is a much better writer than that. Unless he surprises me with his justification for such a thing. But that just seems too cheap of Theon's character at this point. And I don't think his redemption arc in the books, all he's done is save Jane.
Right. In the books, it's not Sansa who is raped by Ramsay.
Or married to him.
Yeah, Sansa doesn't get close to Ramsay. Jane Poole does, and Theon does save her.
It just makes his heroism less there in the books, because it's one thing for him to be a hero for Sansa. It's another thing for him to be a hero for Jane, which no one's really that attached to her. Right. Euron, I do not think will make it.
Will he make it through the next episode?
Yes.
I also think Euron will make it through the next episode, and he won't make it through A Song of Ice and Fire or the show. They just introduced him, so it'd be really pity if they killed him at the end of... But the problem is there's only 6 episodes left after this thing, so...
Right, but what's funny to me is, so they only had 7 episodes this season. However, they're going to have their longest episode yet with the season finale.
Right.
And it's like an extra 20 minutes compared to some other episodes. So maybe by the end of this season and next season, even though we had reduced episodes, we still could have decent airtime.
Right. That might be movie length.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll just have to see when we get there. But I think Euron's going to really screw up royally with something, make things worse. So in the books, he has sent Victarion, they have that dragon horn.
Right, yeah. There's any powers that Euron might have over the dragons in the books, or Victarion might have over the dragons in the books. They don't seem to be doing anything with that in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be sad to see him go next episode. I think he'll make it, and maybe he'll do something really big next episode. It's really hard for me to predict next episode. But so far, we don't have anybody dying. So I think we might be shocked, but there's a lot more characters to go. Quickly, in the books, there's Victarion. He's going to die. We assume he's going to die, right?
Yeah, no, I can only see Yara/Asha making it from the Greyjoy line.
Yeah. All right, we'll run through the next couple quickly. The Martells, 2 of the Sand Snakes are already dead in the show. We assume that they'll die in the books too, right? The story is so different. Do we even want to think about these people? Or should we just let it be?
I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time. I honestly think the remaining Sand Snakes, I think the daughter did die.
The one who was kissed by Cersei?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's already happened.
And are we going to see that? Or we just assume that she's gone?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see it, but I think it's going to be shown that it did happen.
Okay.
Just the same way with Stannis. You don't actually see it, but you know that happened. And then Ilaria. I think she's still alive and she might still play a role in the show. And I could see her possibly actually surviving because she's the only other main character that we know from Dorne at this point. Well,
in the books, there's a lot of them still alive, but I don't want to get into all that
there's
now.
so many different characters going on in the books right now. I don't know if that will make sense for us to go into it right now. But I do think that there'll be some surviving members of Dorne.
I guess I will say that Ilaria will survive. I guess we'll see her one more time in the show. The Tyrells in the show, all dead. In the books, all still alive. Will anybody survive in the books? This is Marjorie, Loras, Queen of Thorns. Will there be any Tyrells left alive in the books?
I think in the books, Cersei, through some indirect means, is going to end up killing Marjorie. Loras, right now he's by, I think, Storm's End. Is that right?
No, he went to Dragonstone.
Dragonstone. That's what
he went to try to take the castle back from Stannis' men, and he, according to reports, got covered in hot tar, but is still alive.
Yeah.
But is in bad shape.
I can see him ultimately dying, even if he doesn't die from that. And I could see Lady Olenna dying. But Willis is actually the head, or the heir to Highgarden in the books. And
Willis is Loras' older brother.
Yeah, and he was hurt. And so he can't be much of a fighter or anything. He's got a limp, I think.
From Oberyn Martell in a jousting match.
Yeah, so I can see him surviving because it's not like he's going to be a warrior in the battlefield.
So the House Tyrells of Highgarden, the house will survive, but the main characters we know won't.
Well, and we never have met Willis. He was just talked about. Sansa was almost going to marry him kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess I agree. The only way I see the whole house being wiped out is if the Tarleys turn on them, like what happened in the show, if Randall does something. Speaking of the Tarleys, that was my little segue.
Nicely done.
Sam, that's a tough one. Well, it's not really a tough one. I think Sam will survive.
I definitely think Sam will survive. just like his similar named Hobbit in Lord of the Rings. I think that those are just two guys who are just too good and lovable that they're going to make it.
Those two guys being Sam and Sam.
Sam and Sam, yep. Maybe there's no coincidence to that.
Will his dad and brother die, and will it be the same way? Hard to predict. They're so minor so far in the books. Even though Randall has a big reputation in the books, we know he's a good commander.
Well, and he interacts with Brienne a little bit, so he's in the books. I could see that happening. I could see the Tarly house falling because of the arrogance and the lack of foresight that maybe would help them survive under the conditions that are of what Westeros is going to find itself in.
Yeah, even though it was rushed in the show, the Tarlys turning on the Tyrells and then getting killed by Dany, I could see all that happening in the book. That was actually a fairly well-written story, even though it was rushed, so I will agree with you.
What? Something was rushed in the show?
All right, so now we're on to the hard ones, which is all the
What do you mean the hard ones? I think we've had some hard ones.
Yeah, they're relatively easy. It's the random characters that are hard. So there's a tough one. Varys.
I think Varys is a survivor. He's going to make it. He's just he's like a cockroach. He's just always going to survive.
Man, I don't know. That's a really hard one. I'm going to say Varys is going to die.
How?
I have no idea. But I think that
by a spider bite?
I think by the end of A Song of Ice and Fire in the books that it's going to be a brand new world, and a lot of the type of people that ruled the last world will not be around. I guess I think he'll survive the next episode. That's a tough one too. It's really hard to predict.
Because he has to tell Dany, I think you're getting out of control, because they had that whole conversation.
And Melisandre said he's. Did Melisandre give him a prediction, or was that just about her?
No, she said both of them.
Yeah,
he's going to die in the show. Then I'm going to change mine. Die in the show because of that one line.
What did she say again?
They're going to die in Westeros. So she was going to go back over to Essos, but I think that she has to come back.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I guess Varys will die. I think he'll survive the next episode because he's a fan favorite and people like the way he acts with him and Tyrion. Even though I don't see that he has much left to offer in the show, I'll say that he survives. Maybe if only, like what you said, to try to be a counterpoint to Dany. Yeah. Okay, so we mentioned Melisandre.
I think she's going to die.
Yes, she will die.
Yeah.
Will she die a hero?
I was actually just thinking that I think that she comes off as this fanatic, and part of her arc is to be a little bit less of that fanatic and a little bit more of like, hey, I've been wrong. Like she loses some of her confidence, but it's ultimately not a bad thing that might cause her to do what really needs to be done.
Well, she certainly thinks of herself as a hero, and she might, if to only prove it to herself, that she might go out trying to do the right thing in one way or another. So there'll be some kind of redemption arc, especially if she's responsible for burning Shireen, which she is in the show and probably in the books.
Yeah, and in the books, that will definitely give her power. So in the show, it kind of made it seem like they burned Shireen for nothing, which is what makes it that much more
right. She does still
devastating.
Have King's blood, though. So.
Right, and in the books, that's going to give power to her to do something. You and I predicted that might be what actually allows her to bring back Jon Snow.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I think.
So at least it's going to have a little bit more meaning, I think, in the books.
Yeah. Than
where in the show it just was completely just...
Right. She will sacrifice Shireen to bring back Jon, yeah. And then show some kind of redemption arc, unless Stannis kills her.
No, I see her surviving for a piece and then doing something and then dying.
She'll survive the next episode, at least.
Yeah, I don't think we might even see her again until next season in the show.
Okay, Littlefinger...
I think he will definitely die, but he's not going to die yet.
That's really tough. I'm going to say he dies next episode. And I'm going to say that's how they explain...
Well, I mean, the show, the way it does stuff, it'll probably just
the way they explain this stupid Winterfell story they've been doing, I'm going to call him a goner. So how much room for scheming is there left in 6 episodes, right? So in the books, I think he's gonna do a lot of very important things.
Yeah.
But he'll be dead at the end. But in the show, they seem to not have any good ideas left for him, and so I think he's toast next episode.
I mean, it's really because of him that where we come into the story at the beginning of book 1 of A Song of Ice and Fire, all that stuff is even happening. Right. Because of what Littlefinger has done.
Right.
He's that good of a master manipulator.
Yeah, Littlefinger started the entire Game of Thrones. And the way he did that, he had Jon Arryn poisoned, but he started the Game of Thrones before that. He told, or it's implied that he whispered into Stannis' ear that Robert and Cersei's kids are not Robert's. And that's what's got Stannis and Jon Arryn investigating. And that's when Stannis was like, I'm out. And so Littlefinger started the whole thing by killing Jon Arryn and telling Stannis to be suspicious of his nephews. So, yeah, he started the whole Game of Thrones. I think he'll have a big, important role in the books, but in the show. Okay, Clegane brothers, the Hound in the Mountain.
Mountain's definitely going to officially die.
Yeah.
And I think the Hound is going to kill him. I mean, that's been set up from season 1, book 1.
That they're going to fight.
No, that I think that the Hound will kill his brother.
Okay.
I think that setup has been coming along. And yeah, I think we're going to have... I think the show will definitely give it to us because the show gave us Cold Hands as Benjen Stark. The show... It does a lot of things that fans like.
Yeah, a lot of fan service.
I think the Hound is going to kill his brother. He's probably going to be in some sort of battle way, but it may not be like a one-on-one battle. It could be in like a larger context. I don't know, but...
You don't think that's going to happen next episode?
Clegane Bowl?
Yeah. I think that's going to be the season 7 finale.
You know what? It could be. I could see that because it's not really... It's pleasing for the audience, but it's not necessary to the overall story and like the true war that is upon them. So maybe they kind of have to like make that happen and give us some... I mean, their season finales and before now, the second to last episode for the first few seasons, were the big ones. And so I think it's going to be a really big episode. So giving that, yeah, we probably have to have a larger Deadpool here. We're probably going to say goodbye to the Mountain officially. I don't think the Hound's done though. I think the Hound may not make it, but I think he's going to still do some big things. I'd love to see him reunited with Arya.
Yeah, so if Clegane Bowl happens next episode, which I think it will, and I think it's not been set up well at all, it's hard for me to imagine the Mountain... I mean, I guess he killed Oberyn, but I feel like if he has this big fight with Oberyn and is killed, and then he has this big fight with the Hound and is killed, even though he's a zombie monster, I feel like he's the most underachieving badass ever.
Look at all that he's done before then, though.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as what we've seen on the show and stuff. But he did kill Oberyn, but I guess I got to contrast that with killing the Hound, which, where does that leave us from a story point of view? The Mountain kills the Hound, and then the Mountain is just still there. So I guess I got to agree with you that the Hound will kill the Mountain, but I think it'll be something bigger. So this is all set up in the first book, like you said, from a Bran dream, where he sees a vision of a Hound. We don't know if it's Sandor de Clegane, but a Hound fighting somebody with a faceless void inside his helmet, which I think is the Mountain because we haven't seen his face. But somebody in golden armor is between them. And I think that's Jaime. So maybe something in the next episode, the Hound and the Mountain will fight. One will kill the other. Jaime will somehow be... That'll be the turning point for him going against Cersei. But all the big players are going to be in King's Landing. And I feel like the Mountain has to do more than what he's done. I feel like he has to kill some people. So I'm going to call them both goners by the end of A Song of Ice and Fire. By the end of next episode... I can't predict. It's hard.
I mean, again, that same thing that you were saying about Beric Dondarrion, of what he was saying to Jon, he also said to the Hound, there's a reason why the Lord of Light has spared you. And that was back when Beric Dondarrion and the Hound fought. The Hound won.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Hound has done anything major yet. So one of his major things is going to be to kill the Mountain.
As a fan of the Hound, who's liked him from very early on, I hope he survives next episode and survives the whole show.
Maybe he'll die saving Arya or something.
Right.
I could buy that death.
I'm not so confident he's on my I'm worried about list, but we'll see.
Wait, what?
That for next episode, the Hound is on my I'm worried about him list. Brienne?
I think she's going to make it.
I think she's not.
But it's funny because, like, With a lot of these, I haven't, like, unless I've already stated before, I haven't really thought too much about it. So us talking about it now is my first real thought about
it's
it.
Our discovery process.
And it's very late at night right now.
Well, and I know who's next on the list and you don't.
So that's why I often am changing my mind as we're talking about it. But my initial reaction to say that she's going to make it comes from a very strong desire for show and book Brienne to make it.
Yeah.
And especially in the books where I think it was Biter bit off part of her cheek.
Yeah.
You know?
She's missing part of her face in the books.
Yeah. So many characters, but she's had such a tough life, and she's really trying to do right by herself and just be a knight for somebody, and I think she is going to be...
She might save the Hound next episode. She's going to be in King's Landing. Maybe her and the Hound fight the Mountain. I'm getting a little fan fiction-y here, but all the big players are going to be there, including her.
I think there's still an arc for Brienne and Jaime, and Brienne may even play a role in why Jaime kills Cersei.
Her death might.
Oh, fudge.
Yeah, if Cersei gets Brienne killed.
Yeah.
By the Mountain or
and that would be the thing that would push Jaime over the edge.
Yeah.
Is if Cersei had Brienne killed. Oh, I don't like it, but like again, my reason for saying yes is because I really want her character to make it.
Yeah.
I could see that. Oh.
Yeah.
So I might have to say no.
All right. So Brienne survives next episode?
Yeah, because I think there's going to be a larger culmination of things that's not going to happen next episode.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's dead next episode, but I don't really believe it. But just for the sake of argument and so that we don't agree on everything, I'm going to say she dies next episode, and that is the turning point for Jaime. Tormund is next.
I don't think Tormund's going to make it. I love his character.
For Tormund, I have two ways of thinking about it. On the one hand, I think he will survive because he's the only meaningful wildling left. And, and Mance Rayder is still alive in the books, too.
Right.
So it's not just because the show passed the books. He has a completely different story arc in the books.
Right.
So I guess I'll just mention, I suppose Mance will die in the books at some point.
Yeah.
But Tormund, so he might survive as the last wildling that we know in the show. But also, if I think about the last episode correctly, he was at Eastwatch. And if the Night's King is headed to Eastwatch first, that could be bad news. Maybe he's the sole survivor of Eastwatch, or maybe he's killed next episode. I think Eastwatch is going down next episode, and the Whites are coming up over the wall. So he's in the wrong place. So I really can see Tormund going either way. But over at Eastwatch, I think also Beric is there. So Beric is probably done next episode.
Yeah, I can see Beric going.
I hope he has a good fight with the Night's King. I don't see why the Night's King would fight him if he has an ice dragon and everything. But if they go to Eastwatch and Beric is there, he's done. He's, I think, the only character that is dead in the books and alive in the show. Here's another tough one. Jorah Mormont.
I sadly think he's not going to make it. Jorah's not going to make it. I don't see him making it in either medium. I could see him going next episode.
I reluctantly and sadly agree with you. Jorah's a goner.
He got cured and was able to reunite with Dany, and they had such an affectionate homecoming and way of being with each other. There's no tension there. There's no storyline there. It's all wrapped up, and he's going to die in service of his queen, and I could see him fulfilling some sort of role on the wall, which is what his dad did. So
yeah, it's probably a good time to get rid of him show-wise. But we barely saw him this season. I would like to see him go further. I'd like to see him survive. Even go back to Bear Island, or if the Night's Watch is still a thing, become Lord Commander, but it probably won't still be a thing by the end of the story. So
no, I mean if there's no Whites,
right? What's the point?
Right, the wall is only there for this reason.
Grey Worm and Missandei.
We have not seen Grey Worm for a long time.
Yeah, I think Grey Worm's. I'm gonna call him out this episode. Next episode, he's gone.
He's going to die.
It's really hard. So my original thought was that the season finale, they're not going to have a big battle because they're all going to join forces and everything. But maybe Euron's going to do something crazy. I feel like something's got to happen. Like, what are they going to fill that 80 minutes with? Yeah, I'm going to say Grey Worm and Missandei. I'm going to just say neither of them make it. Maybe Missandei, especially in the books.
Yeah, I could see Missandei making it. I think Grey Worm is going to go into my Deadpool.
So, and then as far as next episode goes, we know based on Dany's vision that King's Landing is either ash or ice or something. Is that going to happen next episode? Is Cersei going to do the same thing she did last year and blow up the whole thing? Or does that not happen next episode?
That does not happen next episode.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, there's a couple other characters, but I don't think I want to do them. I was just going to say, Mance Rayder, we already said, is going to die in both. He's already dead in the show. Barristan Selmy, dead in the show, alive in the books. He'll die in the books, but it'll be glorious. It won't be shit like it was in the show.
Yeah, and George R. R. Martin has to know that.
Yeah. And then Dario Naharis.
I just literally put my hands up. I don't even care.
Right. It's right. Who cares?
He's inconsequential. I think he's already served his purpose. So whether he lives or dies, who cares?
All right. So by the end of the story, we are predicting Tyrion alive, Sansa alive, Arya alive, Gendry alive. Oh, I forgot Davos. I say he survives.
I think he will survive as well.
Okay. We say Yara survives. We say Ilaria Sand survives. Samwell Tarly survives. And then a maybe on Tormund.
And I said a maybe to Jon.
All right. You heard it here. Those are our predictions, not just next episode, but the entire book series.
Although I reserve the right that if we ever do another one of these later on after Winds of Winter, to change my mind.
Yes, of course. What's the famous quote from Lord Keynes? When the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do, sir? All right. Peace out.
Do, do, do,
Do, do, do, do, do, do, do. We forgot Bronn. Will Bronn live or die?
I think Bronn will make it.
I'm going to call him dead next episode, but he'll make it in the books.
Okay.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.